Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into one of the most powerful statements in the New Testament. It can also be, frankly, a bit confusing.
Oh, definitely.
It's Paul's declaration back in Romans 5:20. He says the law came in so that transgression might increase, but where sin increased, grace just overflowed.
Yeah, and that immediately sets up this logical problem, doesn't it? It's a dilemma.
Right.
If grace is the solution, and the law's job is to show us how bad the problem is, I mean, it leads straight to that really challenging question Paul knew people would ask.
The one in chapter 6, verse 1?
Exactly. If grace gets bigger when sin gets bigger, then should we just keep sinning, so we can get more grace?
It sounds like some kind of weird spiritual loophole, right? Like the more I mess up, the more amazing God looks for covering it all. So why not just max out the glory?
And Paul's answer just cuts right through that. It's the foundation, really, for Christian living. Certainly not, or by no means, depending on your translation. And our mission today really is to unpack why. Why is that the answer? Because the gospel isn't just about balancing the books cosmically. It's about a total change of who's in charge.
A change of dominion.
Yes. Grace doesn't just forgive us. It actually replaces the king we serve.
Okay, let's back up slightly then. Explore that function of the law first. If the law itself is good, how could Paul say it increased the transgression? That sounds, I don't know, almost like word games.
It does seem tricky, but it's not really. The source material we looked at had a great analogy for this.
The mirror one.
Yeah, the mirror, not so. The law didn't create the dirt, the sin. That dirt, that sin, it was already there deep down. The law just provides this perfectly clear, high-definition reflection.
Yeah.
Shows us just how dirty we actually are. So the more you look at the commandments, don't covet, don't lie, whatever, the clearer you see your own rebellion, it increases your awareness of the offense.
Okay, so the law's purpose wasn't to fix us, but to show us just how broken we were. To show us the depth of the hole we're in, basically.
Exactly. Making the need for a really radical kind of grace completely undeniable. You see the mess, and you know you can't clean it up yourself.
So how does this radical grace then change our actual relationship with sin? You mentioned a change of king.
It changes everything, legally speaking. Our whole status. When we're united with Christ, and this is where the baptism metaphor in chapter 6 comes in.
Yeah.
It's key.
Right, verses 3 to 5.
We died with him. And if you've died, well, you've paid the price. The wages of sin is death, right?
Right.
So if you died with Christ, that debt is paid. It means you are legally, fundamentally, you're released from sin. That's Romans 6:7. The old self, the one who was enslaved to sin and answered to the law's condemnation, that self was crucified with Christ.
Wow. Okay, that's a massive theological statement. We are dead to sin. But how does that huge legal reality translate down to, Monday morning?
Right.
When I'm making choices?
Yeah, and that's the absolute brilliance of Romans 6, verse 11. Paul doesn't just leave it as theology. He immediately pivots to a command. He tells us to know this truth. Or the Greek word is elogis. It means to reckon, to count it as true.
Reckon, like accounting.
Exactly like accounting. It means you have to actively calculate, actively count yourself, consider yourself dead to sin's power, but alive to God and Christ Jesus every single day.
So it's not about feeling dead to sin.
Not at all. Feelings come and go. This is a decision based on God's declaration. You choose to believe and act on the fact that you are no longer under sin's rule or debt. You reckon it to be true.
Okay, so this daily act of reckoning, this deciding, this is where motivations really start to split, isn't it? Leading to those different patterns of faith people fall into.
That's it, precisely. The source laid out 3 patterns. They're often confused. First, you get legalism.
Right.
That's driven by fear or maybe duty. The thinking is, if I follow all these rules, then God will accept me. But that path, it only leads to one of 2 places. Either despair because you can't keep it up, or this kind of awful pride because you think you can.
Then the opposite extreme, antinomianism, the anti-law stance.
Yeah, driven by license, really. Or maybe just laziness. It's a total misunderstanding of grace.
Yeah.
The argument goes, well, grace covers everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I do. They treat forgiveness like it's permission.
Okay, so fear on one side, license on the other. What's the third way?
That's the genuine grace faith. And the motivation here is completely different. It's not fear, it's not license. It's driven by love, by overwhelming gratitude.
Yeah.
The thinking becomes, how could I not give myself completely to the one who died for me? It's a response of love. And that is the only motivation that actually produces joyful, willing obedience. Not forced, not careless, but willing.
Because we're not under the law's condemnation anymore.
Right. We're under grace's enablement. We're not just forgiven, we're empowered. And because we are now alive to God, Paul gives that very practical command in verses 12 and 13.
Don't let sin reign, but offer yourselves to God.
Yes, offer your members, the parts of your body, actively yield them as instruments or tools of righteousness.
So grace gets really concrete here. It's not just a concept. It's about, like the sermon mentioned, dedicating specific parts of you.
Absolutely. Your mouth, using it for blessing, for encouragement, instead of, complaining or tearing down. Your hands, using them to serve, to build up, instead of taking or hurting. Your feet actively choosing to walk away from sin and towards where God is working, towards righteousness.
It makes grace incredibly active, not passive at all.
That's the core of it. Grace isn't weak. It's not just a mild-mannered forgiveness. The real meaning of many sins, abounding grace, is that God's grace is actually far stronger than the law's demands and stronger than sin's power over us. It doesn't just pardon, it liberates and empowers.
So the real takeaway then for you listening isn't if you'll be ruled by something. It's who or what will rule you. That choice is always there.
That's the question. Are you still trying to live under that old crushing weight of the law? Or maybe under the sort of chaotic rule of your own desires, mistaking license for freedom?
Or are you choosing to live under the joyful, liberating sovereignty of grace? It really comes down to that act of reckoning, doesn't it? Counting yourself alive to God. Something to really think about this week.